Very nice.
Betty needs cooler shoes.
I'm wearing my rocket dogs. That's what it says on the back. Rocket dogs. Rocket dogs. Oh, I'm here to talk about a number of things today, but we're going to start talking about being a mystic. Who knows what a mystic is? Several of you. Tell me what a mystic is. Sandy, tell me what a mystic is.
I think when we think of it, what the stereotypical thing is usually someone who sits in a cave or spends a long time in communion with Source.
Right.
But you're probably talking more about an urban mystic or...
Could be. Someone who sits in a cave. Angie?
It's someone who has a direct experience with the oneness.
A direct experience with the oneness. Anybody else? Yes, Alan.
One who is deeply in touch with the basics to whatever their heart feels the religion or religious experience is that they're part of.
Deeply in touch with what's inside, basically. Anybody else? I'm going to simplify it even more than all of that. How many of you think you're a mystic? We're about a third. Okay, mostly the practitioners and ministers. I'm going to take it down to where you can understand that you are a mystic. Can you see the wind? No.
See the what?
The wind.
Oh.
No. You see the effects of the wind, right? Can you see spirit?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Okay, yeah, I forgot about those times. You can feel the wind, you can feel spirit. Can you trust in the wind?
Yes, sometimes.
Sometimes. Sometimes it gets out of hand. Huh? Can you trust in spirit?
Yes.
Someone who can trust and believe in something they cannot see. That's what a mystic is. So now I'm going to ask you again, how many of you are mystics? Yeah, a lot more hands went up. You trust and believe in something you cannot see, or you would not be here. And we need to get to this concept of mystical unity today. That's why I brought this up. I wanted to go a different direction and remind you once again of the truth of who you really are. Because we're not this flesh and blood. We're so much more than that. And so much less than that. That was a weird one, wasn't it? Can you ever be separated from God?
No.
No.
No, why?
Because we are.
Because we are it.
Yeah.
We are it. I know this is a big jump for some people, but the truth is, we are it. There is no separation. There cannot ever be a separation. I can remember taking Science of Mind classes years and years ago, and this concept of unifying with spirit, and being told, well, it's just my mind that's unifying, but I'm always unified. But I got to tell you, it took me years beyond that to get to this idea. And this understanding, not an idea, I got it in my head. We got to get beyond getting it in our head and get it deep inside of us. That we are it. There isn't something big out there. It's inside. It's who and what we are. And when we can lose the concept of the small self, we move into this idea and this feeling and this total envelopment. It's not a connection. A connection you can plug in and plug out. It's so much more than that. All these words we use don't really describe what we're talking about. The problem is we live in a world of duality. This physical plane is filled with duality. And our human way of understanding spirit is by equating it to human terms. I mean, many religions use the term Father or Mother, Father, God, trying to come up with these ideas that are similar to human experience. But we're not talking about human experience. On the human plane, it can be hot. It's been hot, hasn't it? Don't worry, in a few months it'll be what? Cold. Dry, wet. On, off. All of these, light, dark. We do this all day, every day. We live in this world of this yin and yang of light and dark, up and down. So we are immersed in duality in the physical form. So we tend to think that's what spirit is like. Spirit is not like that. There is no duality. For duality to exist, we have to first subscribe to it. Well, how do you subscribe to it? By joining in with collective consciousness that this is the way the world lives. This is the way the world is. This is how things happen. And we have to give energy to that belief. So I'm going to beg you today. Well, okay, I won't get on my knees, but I'm still going to beg you to let go of your belief in duality. And I'm going to show you how it came about, and I'm going to show you the truth and how to get there. I have a quote from David Hawkins from Letting Go. As we stop giving authority and energy to all the negative programs that stem from our own thinking, we stop giving away our power to others, and we start to own it back again. If we can let go of duality, I promise you, your world will shift. Your life will expand. I've watched it over and over and over again. So I have a list of how to do this. The first thing is to recognize that every thought is a prayer. I've said this before, you've heard this before. That means when you get frustrated, anybody ever get frustrated? That's a prayer. When you get in a hurry, I got in a hurry this week. Anybody get in a hurry? You ever do something stupid when you get in a hurry? Every moment of every day, every single thought that's going through your head is a prayer. And what does God say?
Yes.
Yes! Oh, some of you have listened. Oh, that's so good. What does God say?
Yes.
God always says?
Yes.
Yes. To everything. I don't feel good. Okay. I don't want that. Yes. I hate my job. Yes, it goes away. Anybody experience that? If Rick were here, he'd be raising his hand. Yeah. Rick has a favorite story. I wish he were here because I would have let him do it, but he's busy working. I chained him to the workbench today because we got a lot of work to do. We're leaving in another week. But one of his favorite jokes that his grandfather told, I'm going to put this down to do it, was there's a little boy, 7, 8 years old, walking down the street, going like this, over and over and over again. And the Catholic priest in the neighborhood sees this little boy walking down the street. And he says, "Young man, you are praying as you walk. This is magnificent." And the little boy looks a little bit confused. And he says, "No, Father." And he says, "Well, what are you doing if you're not praying?" He says, "I got a grocery list from my mom, and I'm going to the store." Who knows it? Head of lettuce, package of wieners, and 2 jugs of milk. It wasn't quite a prayer, but you know. Thank you, Rick. He gives me all the good ones, I gotta tell you. I just stand up here and he gives them to me. Okay. So every thought is a prayer. So how do we get to this? How do we get past this duality? How do we get past this idea of this is good, this is bad, I like this, I don't like that? Marianne Williamson says, "The truth will set you free, but first it will piss you off." Wise woman. I'm going to tell you some things that might piss you off. First one is, you are not an individual. Ooh! Who's been raised to believe that I am individual and I am separate and I am whatever I am? How many of you? Almost everybody raised their hands. Bad news is, but it's the good news that will free you. You are just like everyone else. Everyone else. You have the same feelings. You have the same thoughts. You have the same ups and downs. You have the same experiences. Number 2, you don't have any special talents or gifts. You might have had an interest, and really look at this, guys. Look at your life. Now, you might have had an interest, probably very young, for whatever reason. I liked Barbie dolls. I wanted my Barbie dolls to have clothes. I learned to sew at 7 years old, and I made little tube dresses for my Barbie dolls. I don't have any special talent in being able to sew that somebody else couldn't have had if they would have done the same thing and sat and got a sewing machine and ran a little straight line over and over again at 7 years old. I don't have any special talents or abilities. It's just what I focused on. I have believed my whole life that I cannot play music at all, no matter what. I am telling you, until like 15 years ago when I started hanging out with Rick, I did not believe, and even way past that, I didn't believe I could play music. He played all these flutes, and I pick up a flute, and I just squeak and make horrible noises. And I said, see, I can't do it. I just proved myself right. Because the first time I had sat down at a piano, I sat and plunked around on a piano like a 5-year-old would, and my father would get upset because he was trying to practice. So I thought I couldn't do it. But it's not true. It just wasn't my focus. I don't think I can sing like Tamara. But I've never trained my voice either. I've never worked on it. I like to sing. You guys put up with me singing. We all have the same possibilities. We are all born with the same possibilities. Every one of us. But we choose what we're going to develop. We pick and choose what we like, what we think we're good at, what we're praised for. Can everybody say this has happened in their life?
Yeah.
You think you're bad at something, you're going to be bad at it. You think you're good at it and you have a natural ability, it comes easy. You don't have any special talents or abilities. Which makes you no better or worse, number 3, than anyone else. We love to compare ourselves. We spend our whole lives comparing ourselves. But that's not the truth. You're not better, you're not worse. You're not prettier, you're not uglier, you're not anything. We're all magnificent, beautiful beings, divine expressions of spirit. We're all the same. There is no good or bad. If you get in an accident on the way out of here, it's not good or bad. You don't know what it brings. You've heard me say it over and over and over again. The things that I thought were the worst possible things in my life, that I sat with that Velcro attached to my forehead and my hand. Oh! Oh! Have you done that?
Never.
I'm never. Do you believe that?
No.